Hey guys, and welcome to our video on equivalent fractions. In today's video, we're going to look at what equivalent fractions are and how we can use them. So what are equivalent fractions? Equivalent fractions are fractions that have the same value, which is represented by different numbers. So here we have three kind of common fractions you'll know from your work with fractions. So we've got a quarter, a half, and 2/3. And we're going to look at how those fractions change, but stay the same. So we'll start off with a quarter. So those are the first 5 equivalent fractions for 1/4. So if we look, okay, what's happening on the bottom? We're adding 4, and what's happening on the top? We are adding 1. Cool, pretty straightforward, okay? But it's not actually adding 1 and 4, okay? What we are doing is we are multiplying by 1 and 4, okay? And the reason we do that is because it allows us to have a greater concept of what's going on. Because if we add, okay, it'd be going on forever and trying to figure things out. By multiplying, we can say, okay, I want to know what a quarter is going to look like when we have 50 on the top and what's going to be on the bottom. So if we times them both by 50, you get 50 over 200, okay? So the reason we multiply is because it allows us to really quickly get big things, okay, and also because it's the opposite of division, which is how we'd make these fractions come back down and simplify them, okay? We got a half. Half's really straightforward, okay? We're multiplying by 2, okay, on both or whatever, we're going up in multiples of 2, okay, and obviously multiples 1 at the top. But the trick is, whatever number's on the top, the one on the bottom needs to be half it, okay? So I could say that we're going to look at 999, and that is then going to be 1998, okay? So it's just some really simple stuff. All of these are equivalent to half. If someone asks you to say, what's a half, or can you draw me half, you could easily do these. 2/3 is a little bit more tricky because it's got a 2 on the top now, okay? But again, going up in 2s and 3s, or we're going up in multiples of 2 and multiples of 3. Okay, we're going to look at what's going to be the case if that was 150. So that's 150, that is going to be 100. So those are equivalent fractions. There's not a whole lot of stuff we need to do there. You just need to know that they can still represent the same amount. Okay, and the way we find them is by multiplying the original fraction, okay, by a certain number, and we do it to both bits, and that gives us our new equivalent fractions. Okay, now we can obviously also simplify fractions, which is going back the other way, and that is also finding equivalent fractions. And that's when we tie in our highest common factors and things like that. So we'll be looking at that in a future video, but for now, this is just giving us a good idea of equivalent fractions. Okay, now where this ties in and what we're going to then transition into is ordering fractions. Okay, so ordering fractions is really simple. We'll be asked to order them from smallest to biggest. What we need to do is we need to find equivalent fractions. So we're going to find something that all of those have in common. So we're going to look at 12, 6/12, 3/12, and 8/12. Yep, we then put them in order. So what we do is we use our knowledge of equivalent fractions to help us put those in order. Thanks for watching. We'll do a little bit more on ordering fractions and simplifying in the future. See you guys.